Good morning! So 2 days ago we went to Teotihuacan, which is the pyramids of the sun and moon. And yesterday we took the day off. It was supposed to be rainy, so we just kind of took it easy. We were really pretty sore from all of our walking at the pyramids. It didn't rain much though, surprisingly. So anyways, it was nice. We're a little bit more rested today. And we're waiting for an Uber to head into Mexico City. So I think it's about an hour drive from here where we're at. But the Uber takes about an hour versus if we were to take the bus, which we've considered because it's much cheaper, it would take closer to 2 hours. And since we're just going to go for the day, since the kiddies are staying here at the campground, we thought this would be better use of our time. So we'll keep you updated. Should be a fun day. Some more pretty trees. Just so beautiful. Uber's here. "45 minutes later, we arrived at the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the most visited Catholic shrine in the world. Religious pilgrimages have been made to this site since the year 1531 AD, after an Aztec man was said to have seen the Virgin Mary and received a painted cloak from her as a testament of this. The church was built on what was previously a religious site for the Aztec people, where they had honored their mother goddess. The cloak has been altered over the years, but is now on display in the basilica in front of a moving walkway. After another 45 minutes of traffic, we made it further into the city, reaching the historical district with plans of seeing our second archaeological site of the week, the ruins of Tenochtitlán. Tenochtitlán was founded in the 1300s by the Aztecs, also known as the Mexica people. It was a mostly floating city, extending from 2 islands on Lake Texcoco. The city came to be known as the capital of the Aztec Empire. It was thought to have had close to 200,000 inhabitants and thrived for nearly 200 years, until the Spanish conquistadors, led by Hernán Cortés, arrived in 1519. The conquistadors teamed up with rival indigenous groups to overthrow the Aztec people, eventually conquering Tenochtitlán in the year 1521. After overthrowing the Aztecs, Cortés and the conquistadors destroyed many of their prominent buildings, temples, and artwork. They drained the lake, and they built the beginnings of Mexico City on top of what had been the Aztec sacred empire. In fact, the first cathedral of the Americas, the Metropolitan Cathedral of Mexico City, was actually constructed using the building materials taken from the prominent Aztec temples.
The model was made by the architect and archaeologist Ignacio Marquina in 1960. 18 years before the finding of the Great Temple. So if you ask me how could it be possible that this architect and archaeologist could make the model without seeing anything?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks to the chronicles written in the 16th century by the conquistadors, Hernán Cortés, who gave an excellent description, Bernal Diaz, one of his principal captains, and so many Franciscan and Dominican monks.
Wow.
That used to make descriptions and sketches. We are talking of historical manuscripts.
Mm-hmm.
And Marquina took advantage of all that information to make the model. Okay, this is the year 1502, the year of the splendor of the Aztec culture. The pyramids in the corners, 1, 2, these two were dedicated in honor to the god of the night, called Tezcatlipoca. The twin temples, the school of the high society. Just the sons of the high society could get in there, boys, no girls. When the kids, when they had enough age to get into the school, 10 years old, they could choose what they wanted to be for the rest of their life. They had two options, or Eagle Warriors, the headquarters of the Eagle Warriors, or Jaguar Warriors. These are the headquarters of the Jaguar Warriors. We had two different kind of warriors. The Eagle Warriors, they worship the god sun, and they use special armors made with the skin of animal, very, very solid, like a shield. They cover this with cotton, over the cotton salt in rocks, and over this eagle feathers. The eagle head was made in wood recovered with feathers, and they use this building. But if they decide to be Jaguar Warriors, they use this building, and they use a similar armor. The only difference in them is instead to use the feathers, they use the jaguar skin, and the jaguar head was used like a casque.
Wow.
The next one, the Astronomical Observatory. Very important, the astronomy in the cultures in Mexico. The next one, the Stadium of the Ball Game. Remember, on top of it, we had so many buildings. Buildings like those buildings behind the cathedral. Buildings of 17th, 18th, and 19th century. When they tried to put the cables, one of the employees had the order to make a hole of 12 feet deep. The idea was to put an electrical machine inside. He started to dig with a hydraulic hammer, and in 6 feet, nothing, this deep. The hydraulic hammer hit something solid. This person thought, it's a floor in concrete. What he did, he moved the hammer out, he opened the excavation, and when he was cleaning, he realized that was not concrete. He realized that he had found a round sculpture, like a disc.
Okay.
2 days after the finding, the archaeologist Felipe Solis, a specialist in the Aztec culture, he came to see the sculpture, and when he saw it, he said, it's the representation of one of the principal Aztec goddesses, the moon goddess, called Coyolxauhqui. The discovery of this gave the beginnings of everything. 10 days after the finding, the president of Mexico, Jose Lopez Portillo, for you have a point of reference, the president of the States was Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
Lopez Portillo, he came to see the sculpture, and when he realized of the importance of the finding, he said textual, let's demolish the 2 square blocks that we have on top of the pyramid to start the excavations and investigations in it, for good or bad, for day or night of the Mexicans. And then we had the beginnings of a project that spent 4 years. 78, 82, finding 110 tombs with 8,000 pieces. When I say tombs, I try to be specific in this. Funeral boxes. Funeral urns. You use the expression coffins. Some small ones, some big ones in stone, with covers in stone. When the archaeologists moved the covers, they found ashes. The high society was cremated. The common classes never. But in part, I'm lying. The project never ended. Ended in 82, was reopened in 83 with the intention of continued excavations in the historical center. If I repeat, in the last 40 years, the archaeologists found another 11 pyramids, another 100 tombs. So in this moment we have 210 tombs with more than 100,000 pieces. All the material, all the artifacts are there in that modern building.
Okay.
That is the Great Temple Museum. It worked. It is fantastic.
just got done with a pretty cool tour. It was one of the archaeologists that has been studying the Aztec ruins in this area. Walked us around for about an hour and told us quite a bit about it. One of the cool facts he told us was that the cathedral was actually constructed from the great temple of the Aztecs. And you can see the red color of the stone. That's actually the same volcanic rock that was used to build the majority of the pyramids. One cool fact about the cathedral is that whenever excavations started in 1978 of the Aztec ruins, when an electrical company stumbled upon them, they removed all the buildings that were on top of the ruins, and the pressure from the water underneath actually heaved the ground up. And since 1978, when all the buildings were removed, ruins have actually raised 7 feet out of the ground. And in the process of all that pressure heaving up the ground, it has caused some of the city buildings to lean. As you can see on the cathedral, I don't know if you can tell in the video or not, but it is definitely leaning. I actually said that to Rachel when we first walked up to it, and the archaeologist told us that it is actually at 110 degrees versus when it was first built, it was 90 degrees. Another cool fact that he told us was this government building that encompasses one full city block was originally going to be Cortez's house. It was never going to be a government building. It was supposed to be his house. And he actually died before the building was completed. A lot of cool history here. Glad we got to experience some of it.
Yeah, I think another fun fact is our guide was telling us that the Mexican officials brought in the engineering company that stabilized the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy to come in and stabilize the cathedral here. I thought that was kind of fun, but it sounds like now the foundation is solid and it's no longer raising anymore or falling.
Right, yeah, and they were originally contemplating fixing the lean of the building, but didn't want to compromise any of the historical aspects or original facade of the building, so it still leans today, but I guess it's more stable than it was.
Yeah.
Since we were in the big city, we looked for a favorite but hard to find food, chicken tikka masala. The only Indian food within walking distance was vegetarian, so they didn't exactly have this, but it was still a nice contrast to the tacos and tortas we'd been eating.
I think this is the only royal palace in the Americas, or at least it was at one time. But we're headed to the park. We've been walking through what we think is called Alameda Central, which is the oldest park in the Americas. It's really pretty. It definitely has a European feel to it. It's a nice change of pace from the busy city streets, that's for sure.
After leaving the park, we continued mixing things up with a stroll through Mexico City's Chinatown.
That is bao.
Look at that colorful bread.
That's bao.
Oh, wow.
Do you need to get one?
No.
I've only seen them with meat. I didn't know they had sweet ones. fried ramen.
With tired feet, we decided to start making our way back out of the city, this time trying out a few different forms of public transit along the way.
Found a more fun way to get back home.
We don't know really where it's going to drop us off at, but we know we're going the right direction.
It's an adventure. Just an update. It's been about 20 minutes and we've had 2 transfers so far. But we're making our way out of the city and we finally have our own gondola, which is exciting. But we had some people help us out figuring out that we had to transfer or else we would have made our way back into the city accidentally.
Yeah, it's super cheap too. It was 30 pesos per card, so 60 pesos for both of us, which is only about $3. And we've probably covered 15 miles or so and gotten some pretty awesome views on the way.
Yeah. I read some blogs that say you should go up to certain viewpoints in the city to get the best views of the city, but I disagree. I think this might be the way. And you can see more than just downtown. It's amazing that all of this is still considered kind of some neighborhoods of Mexico City.
I'd say this is probably one of the coolest public transit systems I've ever been on. I feel like I should have my snowboard with me going up the side of a mountain, but we're just riding around Mexico City.
Definitely. Definitely really cool. Well, unfortunately, our gondola ride didn't quite get us as much out of the city as we thought, but it was still fun. Our Uber still cost as much as it would have if we had just gotten it before the gondola, but it was a good experience. Cool thing to do. And we made it back. It was a crazy Uber ride, but we're here, we're tired. I think we're gonna call it and hang out with the little buddies. We'll see you again soon.
If you liked this video, let us know by liking and subscribing. And don't forget, you can see more of the journey on Instagram and TikTok. Cheers, friends!